Hey there, commercial construction coffee talk fans. Thanks for chiming in. My name's David Corson. I'm your host. I'm also the publisher and editor of Commercial Construction and Renovation magazine. This is what it used to look like. Uh, Last issue we published was August of 2021, but let's see, this was July 2020. Jessica Fumo, when she was at Removery, it was a tattoo and removery place, graced the cover. Thanks. She's now with Sephora and actually trying to get her and her boss back on the cover, But let's see what I was doing now way back when. This was a 140-page issue. Oh, I was actually at a University of Denver ASU hockey game in this little tiny rink. ASU didn't have a hockey rink, so they played in this little dump. And anyway, now it's a big rivalry, and both those teams hate each other. They both play in the NCHC, and I don't know. We've got 10 national championships. They've just got a bunch of cool uniforms that they wear. But anyway, they beat us. They beat us that game, and I think we tied them the night before. But I was doing an event out in Phoenix at the end of the year. It's our last reception of the year, and they were playing that weekend, so I spent the weekend and went to the game with a couple of my hockey compadres. But anyway, it's still always good and nice to hold the magazine in my hands, but don't miss the printer, don't miss the post office, and making the switch from digital print face to face to digital has been an amazing accomplishment. And everybody out there that finds our content on the web, thank you so much. I would have never in my wildest dreams thought I would have that much traffic on our site, but we've become a destination point, and it's all because of you out there. So you're all gold in my eyes. I'm sitting out here on my porch. I built my house myself with my wife. It took us 14 months, about 4 months of permitting and 10 months of build. And I'm just about finishing up my studio, and I've got a few. We're just getting unpacked. This will probably be the last weekend we're getting unpacked and settled, and I'll be back up in my studio. But I actually kind of like sitting back there. People always ask me, "Is that fake?" I'm like, "No, it's real. It's 66 acres behind me, and of all sorts of predators: bear, coyotes, foxes, probably some badgers in there, and anyway." I got to paint my fence. I just started it yesterday and putting the black stain up. So that fence in the back there is going to be finished here. I might get it done today. If not, I'll finish it tomorrow. But anyway, at night when you go out there with the dogs, we're rescuers. We have four rescue dogs. Anyway, I got to go out there armed because they can hop the fence. And one of my dogs, Deaf, he's just a little chicken nugget waiting to get eaten. And so during the day, you don't really see much. Yeah, once in a while, the coyotes will catch something back there, but at night, you got to be careful. So we go out there with the Smithfield and just to protect the old pups. The last thing I want to do is see them getting dragged off into the woods. So we did
Yeah.
a big black bear. Got caught on one of my neighbors. Got two houses down on their house cam. And he's just cruising along, came across the woods, crossed the street, went into the other woods, down towards the lake. And he was not, listen, he was not skinny. He's a hefty bear. So, but I knew they were up there. I hadn't seen one, but there it was. And so I was like, oh man, do not want to run into that when I'm walking the dogs at night. That's for sure. So, listen, Taste TGIF, number 30 for the year. You got uh, 22 more left before we ring in 2026, and sizzling hot here in the ATL. Oh my God, it's going to be like almost probably 100 degrees with the heat index today. And uh, but got to get the fence done so it'll dry that much quicker. That's the way I look at it. The sooner I get out there, the sooner I'm going to be finished. So. Anyway, I've got a nice gentleman. His name is Colby Murphy. He's a carpenter millwork guy. And the reason why I have Colby on is he does some really cool stuff for some really cool people. And started out, as a one man band, and now he's got some serious clientele. And just thought it would be nice to have an artisan with woodworking, etc., come in and talk about his craft. So Colby. Say hello to our listeners out there on Commercial Construction Coffee Talk.
Hello, good morning. How's everybody?
And what city are you out of? Where are you?
So we're the facilities in Grand Prairie, Texas, but we operate out of Dallas Fort Worth area primarily,
Okay,
and then
cool.
nationwide clients, outside of here.
Well, my son, he's in Dallas. He works for FlexJet over at Dallas Love, and
Okay.
anyway, he says it's been pretty hot down there, and
Yeah, it's been pretty warm. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, the dog days of summer. I get it. We
I feel like we've been kind of lucky. It hasn't broke. I don't think it's broke 100 yet, which last year we were already 30 days into it. It seems like so. We
yeah.
can learn from that.
Yeah, well, I know it gets hot in Big D. We used to have a showroom at the World Trade Center over there, right across the street from the
Oh yeah.
Anatole. And
Okay.
I would get when I was younger, I would get stuck flying down, having to unload the trucks in the middle of summer. About July is when would do that market, and oh man, it was hot. And then I'd have to wait, and everybody would buy the show pieces, and I'd have, all the pieces. I'd have to drag them down on the storage elevator and get them on their trucks, and because we didn't want to ship it back,
Oh
and
yeah.
you
That,
know.
that,
But have fond memories of sweating my tail off in Big D and getting some good
oh yeah.
barbecue. So,
Oh
uh,
yeah. There's plenty of that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So the way we're going to work this, we're going to do it in three sections. You're going to tell us your story, where you grew up, where you went to school, how you ended up where you were today, and then
Okay.
we'll talk about the roller coaster that we've all been on over the last 5 years. Even though we're out of the tunnel, there's still some speed bumps and ballards or potholes in the way, and then any trends that you might see. In your sector, and then you'll leave your contact info on one positive thought or phrase, and then we'll close it out. So, with that said, the floor is yours. Tell us your story.
Okay. Cool. So my background is even as a child. My father was a master machinist, and then car restoration guy, guru for if you will. So background, out of the gate as a kid, always been using my hands, building something. Started welding when I was probably about 12 years old. I was always in metal fabrication primarily as a younger guy for sure. Did all that metal fabrication stuff for years and years, all through high school. Worked with my dad a lot in the garage, working on cars.
Did they have shop
Uh,
class at your high school?
what's that?
Did they have a shop class at your high school?
They had welding. They had a welding class, and it's funny because we do furniture, and I never really did any of the woodworking part of any of it. It was just welding and stuff like that. So yeah, they did. There was like an agricultural class that offered welding, teaching
Hmm.
it and things of that nature. Spent time in the machine shop with my dad, stuff like that. Got through high school. I enlisted in the Marine Corps when I was, I believe, a junior in high school. So I did about 5.5 years in the Marine Corps. Extended to go overseas second time. Got out, and I think that was 2010, I believe, if I remember correctly. Uh,
What was your specialty in the Corps?
so I worked on avionic systems, intermediate level maintenance on aircraft, Harriers, CH-53 Echoes, helicopters, cargo stuff, things of that nature. So a lot of aircraft stuff, aircraft maintenance related items, mainly
My
electronics.
son's an A&P. That's the only reason I asked
Oh,
you.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did a lot of that. And I was a QA for quality assurance, quality control for our shop as well during that time frame. So I did the Marine Corps. I got out, didn't really know what I want to do with my life, as nobody really does whenever they're getting out of the Marine Corps for the most part. Sort of bartending, I got in the hospitality scene, bartending, bars, restaurants, things like that. And then, a few years of that, I was living in Phoenix, and then I moved back to Dallas. My father got sick; he got cancer. He's fine now; everything's good. But I moved back to help take care of him. Got him through that, and was in engineering school at UTV here for a little bit, and then I guess in the middle of all that, I started, wanting to build furniture. I had a loft in downtown Dallas. So I was bartending in downtown or uptown rather. Didn't have any furniture, so I was like, I'm just going to make my own stuff or what my need was. I think it started as it was a little desk I made in my dad's garage. Um, and then it just kind of evolved. I kind of got into the furniture side of it, started welding again. I hadn't welded at that point in 10 years probably. Um, and then just got into it. Found a really crappy little shop east of Dallas in Mesquite. It was like 1,000 square feet. It was $400 a month. It was nothing. I figured at the time, if I made two cutting boards or something, something
Yeah,
crazy
pay for it, right?
for it. Yeah. So, started doing that. Started, self-taught for the most part, teaching myself everything. Sold my truck. Started buying equipment. that I'd never used before on the woodworking front, and just started collecting tools and machinery and things of that nature. And then we got a what was it? It was like a first contract for a restaurant. Needed some tables, so we made some tables for a restaurant, or I did rather. It was only myself at the time. And then we got a big restaurant in Deep Ellum when Deep Ellum was kind of coming back in Dallas. And then that set the tone for a lot of it going forward, because we started off as just bespoke one-off residential pieces. If I were to look back and if somebody were to ask me if they ever thought it'd be commercial back then, I'd probably say no, not a chance. Because I was really focused on residential, and the commercial thing and the packages for restaurants took off. And then from that point, it just, constant, evolving, learning, making mistakes, many of them along the way, as we all do. Buying machinery, trying to get more clients, playing the sales game, trying to figure it all out at the same time. And then it just, you look back and slowly you see the progression of it. And it's kind of weird how it goes from what it was to what it is today. It's pretty eye-opening. Now we do stuff, we ship packages, whether it's residential one-off pieces or actual furniture packages for bars and restaurants all over the country now, which is just kind of shocking still. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been eye-opening across the board. This thing started as a hobby that I never, in a million years, would have thought it was going to be a actual viable, business model, even to where we're making things and people are paying us for the things that we make, that fits the need and solves a problem for them at the same time, which is, it's cool. It's pretty neat. So, here we are. I started doing this when my son was born, which is probably the best time to ever do anything, right whenever you're about to have a child. My wife, awesome, stuck by me the whole time, got us through a lot of bad times, financially and otherwise. In the beginning with starting anything fresh, especially with a new baby, I've got an incredible support system. But it's definitely I've been crazy fortunate on that front, on all sides, friends, family, and everything. And they just let me just keep pressing forward on all of it, and being able to take sacrifices or make sacrifices rather, and push the envelope a little bit too far sometimes.
Were you the first person in your family to go military, or did you have any predecessors?
So both my grandfathers were in the military. My grandfather on my dad's side, I remember him. He died when I was a little bit younger, but he was in the military. My grandfather on my mother's side, he was in the military as well.
Were they Marines or were they Army or?
They were not. I'm the first Marine. I believe it was Army and Air Force. I don't remember exactly. They never talked about it a lot from what I remember. If somebody came in now and asked me that same question, I'm like, I think it was Army or Air Force. So I'm pretty sure.
Well, first of all, we appreciate your service. I come from a military family, so hoorah. And
thank you.
I always tell people, if you're 18 years old, or listen, you enrolled when you were 17, but if you don't know what you want to do, go into the military. You get
100%.
you go 3 meals a day. You got a roof over your head. They want you to succeed. They might beat up on you and mean to you, but they want to make they want to
Yeah,
make.
yeah,
Listen, you got to the few, the proud, the Marine. I mean, it's like becoming a black belt. Not everybody's a black belt. Not everybody's a
yeah,
Marine,
yeah.
but you can stay in, or like you said, you went out and you did 5.5 years. You worked on some cool, flying machines, and now you used whatever that talent or whatever you learned there. Believe it or not, it rubbed off on you from where you are today.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
but if you don't know what you want to do when you're 18, go into the military. You'll come out a man. You'll have a skill. You can go back to school just like you did, and you can make the transition back from military to to civilian life. But we appreciate the support there. So my
Yeah.
father was a combat engineer underneath Patton under World War II. So
Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah, so he built back all the bridges. And anyway, we were in construction, recycling, demolition they're still in business since 1888. So When I grew
That's
up,
cool.
when I got my license, I grew up outside of Philly. So when I got my driver's license, all the grandsons, we all had to work in the scrapyard. I had no choice. If you want to drive a car, you had to go work in. And back in the day, the the granddaughters, nah,
Yeah, yeah,
grandsons,
yeah,
got to go in there. So my first
yeah.
sergeant was my uncle Frank. May he rest in peace. He was one mean SOB, but I learned a lot from him. And now my cousins, I'm just turned 62. I could have been there and running the company, but they're running it and still in business. And we were into sustainability and recycling before that was even words. And
Oh,
uh, I got these killer old 8 millimeter film that we've transferred to digital, where after the war, our whole scrapyard was full of tanks and Jeeps that they were cutting up, the steel and stuff, and recycling it. And
that's
I don't know
cool.
where all that stuff ended up. I wasn't even born then, but still, it's definitely a cool. So I appreciate anybody that went into the military, man. So once again, thank you for your service. So.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Thank you for.
Let's talk about you start your company, you're rolling along, March 2020 comes along, cranes, low employment, everything's rocking and rolling, you're probably getting orders, and uh, all of a sudden, boom, everything kaput. Oh, it's going to be a
Mhm.
couple weeks, couple months. Here we are 5 years later talking about it. Talk about how you kind of weathered the storm and kept on moving forward and you know, where you are today.
Yeah, so all that March happened, obviously. Luckily, well, luckily, not luckily. So, going into that time frame, we were 90% of the business was hospitality, bars and restaurants, and that was one of the first things that went away. So that was pretty tough. It was funny before that time, we had a lot of people that we compete with that were residential focused. They were always asking, like, how can we get more commercial projects? That's where the money is and everything like that. And then it went away. And then we found ourselves in a position of like, wow, we really need to focus on residential because the tables turned 180 pretty quick on that. We were kind of behind on that. We weren't really focusing on residential at that time. So we were definitely behind. Luckily, going into those times, we had a lot of cash reserve sitting in the bank from deposits that we had taken or jobs that we had completed at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, prior to March. So it was one of those situations where we were fully staffed. Things kind of popped off, or lack thereof, and we just kind of weathered it. We just rode the wave. Basically, just I didn't make any money for about a year, roughly. We made enough money to get by. We had good cash reserves. We didn't lay anybody off. I bought a house into 2019 that needed completely renovated. So we had guys kind of standing around, a lot of training, a lot of going to the house, keeping them busy. At that
Hmm.
point, my focus was just keeping the people around me fed. That was my primary concern and goal because, a lot of people didn't have that opportunity or that ability to do so. So
Hmm.
I looked at it as, we were blessed in the sense financially and just making sure that we were able to keep everybody staffed and just keep pressing forward on anything that we could. And it worked out. I mean, it was a tough time for sure, a tough year that whole 12 months. It probably was total about 18 months of just kind of tough times, but we stuck it out. Um, we started, things started trickling back in, kind of off to the races again, at that point. But it's just the highs and lows. It was just that was I think with anything, anybody knows, I'm sure you know as well, you got your highs are high and your lows are low. And then that was a low that went on for a lot longer than anybody expected it
Yeah.
to.
Did you see like a lot of people that do residential and they play in the commercial side too uh uh that a lot of people that first year they started looking at their homes because that's where they were. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
depending on what state you were in, obviously, if you were like Georgia, we were an open state, same thing like Texas. But if you went
Yeah.
in maybe up to some of the northern states, or out west, the restrictions were much worse and really depended on state by state on what was going on. But
Yeah.
some
Sure.
of the people that I've had on my show that they've said, a lot of people that were looking at their homes, they did a lot of renovation. So it was actually, it was pretty good. And then that following year, 21, 22, they had really good years. And then it kind of plateaued and people started going back to the office and then
Yep.
the commercial thing. But the restaurants and the hotels that, if they were smart, uh, this was the time that first year in 2020 was a perfect time for them to revamp their facility. Whether it
Yeah,
were fixtures, paint, carpet, because normally in a hotel you're doing it one floor at a time, you're losing revenue. Here, if the hotel was shut down, the people that were going to be more prepared when the country reopened would have done whatever they needed to do to give their facility a facelift. Same thing with a restaurant. Maybe new tables, new bar stools. Do whatever they were doing because they had the time to do it. So when things did open up and people wanted to go back out. Those are the people I think that flourished. But a lot of people told me that they had some of the best years uh, in that 20 to 23, 24, somewhere in there. They probably could have done more projects if they had more project managers or superintendents.
yeah.
It wasn't even the product, and labor shortage or product shortage. It was more just finding people that you can get the projects from. So, is that the same thing for you? I mean, as far as
Kind of. Definitely saw a lot of that on. If we talked to some of our vendors back then, their residential subs that we're using were skyrocketing cabinetry, like you said. A lot of people sitting at home, staring at walls. They couldn't leave, so you're stuck in a place that. Not to say that it's a prison because it's your home, but you're stuck there for the most part. And then people wanted to, make it, more acceptable inside, and a lot of people were doing that. On the commercial front, it was kind of twofold. We did have clients that were, utilizing that time to kind of revamp some brands or whatever that might have looked like. Or we also had clients that were sitting on cash, not wanting to move it because they were buying up real estate. So it was one of those, we had clients that they had projects that kind of halted, paused. They were buying up real estate because it became real cheap pretty quick. As businesses began to close and things like that, they were getting leases cheaper. They were buying land. They were buying facilities. So they were kind of just moving the puzzle pieces around that, depending on who it was, at least, I can't speak for anybody on that front, but that's what it seemed like it was kind of turning out to be. So it's, the people that were revamping interiors, for the future of the use, that happened. And there's people that were diving real deep into, purchases, things like that, knowing the end result was going to be the same. At some point, it was all going to come back. It was, are you going
Mhm.
to come back to, refreshing spot, or are you just going to come back and be building something in addition to what you already had? So, we're seeing a lot of that now in the past, probably since 22. It's been a lot more new projects, new builds, newer, you know, commercial facilities as it relates to hospitality primarily. Um, so yeah, I mean, it just to me it just depended on who it was, who you're talking to, where they were moving their their pieces.
So when you went into the Marines and you were working on aircraft, did you have any experience with working on any of that stuff, or did you just hey, this is where you're going to be? You're going to be a tech.
On working on experience working on aircraft prior to that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? No, God no. I worked on cars my whole life. If you really dumb it down, an airplane is just a car with wings and no wheels. At
Yeah. Well, the only
the
reason
end
I
of
ask is
the day.
because when my son went through he went through his 2 year program at Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and he learned welding,
Yeah,
woodworking, avionics, jet engines. He can work on anything that has a jet engine on it. And like I said, he went the skilled labor route. He was flipping cars. He was working on bikes.
yeah,
He
yeah.
he was the perfect shop class kid. He wasn't into English or any of that stuff, and I was trying to get him to go into the military academy up here called Riverside. And anyway, that's a whole nother story in itself. Anyway, they wouldn't put him in the shop class because they said he didn't have the mathematics skills. I'm like, he'll figure it out, trust me.
Yeah,
Oh no, he can't go in. So we yanked him. He did we did online his senior year, and he worked in the garage locally, and he waited tables and went to school. And
hustle.
yeah,
Hustle.
and
Yeah,
but yeah, some of the, but he was really good with his hands. I mean, the first thing that I did in March of 2020, I told my kid, I said, "Hey, we're going to redo the deck, and we're going to go get
yeah,
the 2x10s, and we'll do the stairs, but we got to go get it now because it's going to be a fortune in about 2 or 3 weeks." You know, and
yeah,
you know what like labor is. You buy a lumber package. It could have been it was probably like 60 or 70% more than if I didn't do it right away. And It was funny. We were putting in the stairs. It's like, Dad, why aren't you a contractor? I'm like, I am. Mom's a contractor. I come from a customer. I build by magazine. I just do it with paper and ink. I just don't do it with 2x4s and nails and varnish. And,
Yeah, yeah,
but he's like, you should be a contractor. I'm like, well, we're going to build a house, you'll see, and we'll get it done. And, but, uh, it's so cool. You can do anything if you have the right tools and the right machinery, you can do anything. And
yeah. And right mindset, yeah, you can do. You're unstoppable. You know.
yeah, it's like the fence. I had repaired the fence. I had replaced posts and sections of it, both wood and metal. This is the first one I did myself, and now I'm finishing off. I told my wife, I'm like, hey, we're just going to put that up on the website. I mean, we're a fence installer's tool. I mean, I got the auger. I dug 39 posts. I cut the tops off. I'm staining it myself, and I did a bunch of stuff around the house. I mean, there were certain things I didn't do. Like she's like, we have 27 interior doors. Are you gonna hang those? I'm like, no, we're gonna hire someone that freaking does that every day that can make it
Oh, that's
flow
funny.
like air. I don't want to deal with it. I'll put the hardware in, but I'm not hanging the doors, There's
And
certain
I just had a conversation about that same exact thing. Somebody was talking about hanging doors. I was like, that's one thing I just will not do. I
No,
will
it's
not.
tough. You need it. We hired a husband wife team. Oh my God, man, Sam was awesome, man. He came in there and I'm watching him and I looked at my wife. I'm like, see, this is why you pay someone what they're worth. He does it every day. He can get it done, and all the doors are going to be nice and smooth. They're going to be like riding on air. I don't want to do. I can I'll do the hardware. I'm not doing the doors. But skilled labor. You don't want to nickel and dime people.
No,
No,
no.
no. People don't realize that. Hey, running a CNC router or cutting fence posts or whatever. If you want them to be straight and you want it to be right, use someone that does it every day because they have it down. I mean, I never saw a garage door get assembled. The garage door guys came in, we videotaped it, and I understood about the trolleys and all that stuff. I mean, like I said, I've built so many things over my life, but watching it all get built, I was like, okay, now the garage is done. Okay, now
Yeah,
it's up here. So
yeah.
it's just stuff that you learn. So I was curious how you got, you came in and you could have been working someplace else, but they put you on a aircraft. So that's really cool. Fixed in Helos.
Yeah, I mean, for me on that front, it was when I was in high school, I was geared up to go to college and I was kind of took a step back and looked at it and I was like, man, I'm flunking out of college 100%. Like I was too into not doing what I was supposed to do at that time in my life. I mean, I was a teenager. I was 17 years old, 16, 17, 18. So I was like, to me, the only thing that made sense was going to the military because otherwise, I, there's no telling what direction I probably would have gone back in those days. It just made the most sense. And then I wanted to, work on avionics, electronics was cool. It was different. It was new.
Fly
So I
by
kind of,
wire.
yeah, I went with that. And of course, they teach you everything. They teach you enough to get in trouble until you get out into the field. And
Yeah.
then you obviously learn more, once you get out there. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was, if I had to go back and do it again, I'd do it the exact same way for sure.
Yeah. So your client list on your press release that your publicist sent to me, you got some heavy hitter names in there, in the restaurant or the chef guys and stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
is that word of mouth that or is it just they were in some place they got, hey, where did you get that made? Oh, yeah, some dude over in East Dallas, man, and this shop man made it for me, man. How's that?
yeah. Man, probably both. Because up until recently, we've never. I mean, obviously, we have a website. We've got your, most basic marketing possible. Don't have sales. Never really have gone out and tried to get sales. We've never gone out on marketing campaigns or anything like that. It's been. I guess the term would be a very organic process. We do good work. People hear about it or they see it. They make contact. We've been very fortunate with the clients that we've had kind of out of the gate, they speak for us as well. The designers, the procurement directors, it's a small community if you really think about it. Like they all seem to know somebody who knows somebody that has, a problem that needs a solution. And then our name kind of has come up over the years.
Hmm.
Uh, it's pretty weird and cool that that's how it's worked, looking at everything. We've never until recently, because now we've had time to kind of do it and reallocate some resources to actually get up and go towards, sales and revenue and things like that.
Hmm.
It just works. It always has worked with, just looking at our track record. The big clients that, we've gotten over the years, kind of the same thing. They working with different designers and procurement directors, they all kind of talk to each other, and then we found ourselves with, RFQs for some bigger names, and we do them. And then, our big thing, we make furniture as primary goal what we do, but everybody here knows that, that's kind of secondary to the relationship. The relationships that we're creating with clients is more important to me than what it is we make. It's obviously a very close second, but once we have a relationship with that person or that company or even the homeowner, if it's residential, it's like my focus is to maintain that relationship, for the long haul, and do whatever it takes to ensure that they're happy on their front, obviously within reason. But I think we've been very lucky and fortunate on all the clients we've had. We've never had anybody that we felt like was taking advantage of anything, because we don't take advantage of them. It's been very helpful on all that. Just relationship based is kind of what we stand by, for sure.
What's your coolest project or piece of furniture that you created that you're proud of, or people say, yeah, man, I made that.
Yeah, there's one that always keeps coming up. We did this parametric bench for a client up in, I think they're in Plano. It's a big commercial real estate firm. They're massive, but we did this big parametric bench. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically all these layers of plywood or solid wood forms that kind of form this three really weird, crazy shape. I'll have to send it to you, and I think it's on the website as well. But that one was cool, and it was my daughter. Oh, we were in the hospital. She was born while I was. We have three children, so she was being born while I was in the hospital trying to figure out the engineering on this thing, and it took forever. And now and then I did it, and I was like, oh, I can knock this thing out on the design wise pretty quick now, because I
Yeah.
had no clue what I was doing. But that thing is cool. It's just everybody that sees it is always that probably gets the most feedback. We've done a few of them. Feedback's great on those. They're just different. They're neat and they're artistic and functional at the same time. So those are pretty cool.
Do you prefer metal or wood, or do you like the mix of both?
Man, that's a tough one. When I do metal, you get so very dirty because all the grease or like all the stuff from grinding, or if you need to. The wood, you can just dust yourself off and then walk out the door for the most part. A little bit easier. I know I can attest to this. When I get home, my wife knows immediately if I was around any sort of metal fabrication throughout the course of my day at all, any welding, where I could be in the wood shop and nobody be, none the wiser when I get home.
Yeah, your story about your first child was born in 19, right? Is that what you said it was?
So
19?
he was born in 16. He's
16.
he's gonna be 9 this year. So yeah, he was born in 16, and then our middle child was born in 19, and then our latest edition was born. She's a year and a half. She was born December before last, so 2020. What is that? 23? Yeah, 23.
And when I was at Nielsen, Nielsen just bought our company. I just started my construction magazine. That honeymoon lasted about 18 months. And then they
Yeah,
whacked about right after 9/11, they whacked about 150. I don't know how many magazines out, but my little construction book had gotten the axe. I had another magazine I was publishing. I could have retired there, but
yeah,
I said, look, man, I started that magazine the year my son was born. I look at it as my other child, and
yeah,
just a father looking out for their kid, and you got to sell me the magazine or I'm out of here. And they thought I
yeah,
was
yeah.
kidding. So I said, I'm out of here. And I left December 17th, 2001, and I haven't looked back since. And
Awesome.
uh, it, you got to look out for the kids. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
So, if someone was out there in commercial construction coffee talk land, and they were they're branching out, let's say wherever in the Southwest, wherever, and they were looking for something cool to put in their store or their facility, restaurant, whatever it might be, how would someone reach out to you?
They can email directly myself. So my email would be Colby, Colby at slcrafted.com. Then info at slcrafted.com. probably those two routes. We got a phone. You can share a phone number too, or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
phone number.
My phone number, one that we can contact, be 214-773-4952. Um, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty basic, old school contact.
I'll put all that in the description, and when I edit this, I'll put some captions in there so people can see it as well. But all that will be linked in the description. So, uh, if anybody wants to reach me, I'm at David C at ccr-mag.com. And listen, Colby got on here because his publicist sent me a press release. I look at everything. I looked at it and I was like, "Ooh, I haven't had a craftsman on here in a while." And his like I said, he's got a very uh, what's the word I'm looking for? A high quality customer
Yeah.
list. There's definitely some name drops that are on there that that are in the restaurateurs or chefs or whatever. And I was like, okay, we're gonna have this person on here. So first of all, he's military, so we thank him for his service. But then number one, got out of the service and now he's a woodworker, which is really, really cool. And you know, uh, it's just it's a good feel story, so that's why we had it on here. But here's the thing. They sent me something to look at. It's like playing the lottery. If you don't buy a ticket, you can't win. So if you don't send me something, I can't find it. You can't end up here on the podcast. Very tough to get in the magazine, but I would have posted that content, up on the site, or we'd have found one of the other platforms to put it on. And listen, we're all about data. So if you've got an anniversary, a new product announcement, a new, a charity golf tournament that you're doing, whatever it might be, send it to us. We look at it. Like I said, very tough to get in the magazine, but getting posted up there, we make sure it's Googled and it's indexed. Your search engine optimization, you'll be able to find it. We send it to you. You share it. It's a win-win. And don't judge a book by its cover, because trust me, I mean, we look at so much stuff. I have two nice ladies that are up in Chicago. They post all day, and we love looking at stuff, and we can't get enough of it. In fact, I think I got to hire another person here because we just can't keep up with the load of volume that you got to post every day. So, um, with that, Colby, as we finish up here, if there was one positive thought or phrase that you'd like to leave with our listeners out there in commercial construction coffee talk, what would it be?
For anybody starting off, just if you're passionate about what you're doing, you believe in it, then just keep pressing forward and keep learning and just keep take chances, as educated as you possibly can, but take risks, take chances.
And you're
If
going to
you
make mistakes, right?
you're 100% going to make mistakes. You're going to make more mistakes than you probably will non-mistakes out of the gate for sure. But you just got to
And
learn
you
from them.
learn from your mistakes. That's what's
Yeah,
even
just don't make the same one twice, and you're probably okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, hey, look, like I said, I learn something new every day. And if you're not
Yeah,
pushing yourself and you're not making mistakes, you're not pushing yourself hard enough, as far as I'm concerned.
100%,
You know,
100%.
and just like when you went through boot camp, man, the drill sergeant, his job is to make you into a Marine. And
Yeah,
and some people are cut out to it, some people aren't. But if you just listen and you keep your mindset, I'm going to make it through boot camp, and they come out and they're a Marine, right?
yeah. Drill instructors are they're eye opening. That's for sure. Whenever you don't know who you are in the first place, so
Yeah, yeah. No, hey, look, like I said, where did you do boot camp?
I was a West Coast Marine. So I was in San
That's cool.
Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. Yeah. Um, the go like I said, boot camp, that whole ordeal, and then you went through it, you're out. So like I said, we thank you for your service, and it's awesome. So uh listen, like I said, I'm going to put all his descriptions in there, and uh as he said, look, mistakes, you either win or you learn. I don't even think losing's in my verbiage. I never use it. You either win or
No,
you learn,
oh yeah,
and the scoreboard tells the story, and it doesn't change. So there's nothing back there to look at, except if you forget what the score is, just always keep moving forward with a positive attitude, and you'll do okay. And making mistakes, not a big deal. As long as you did your best, that's all you can do.
yeah,
And then when you do learn, you stick it back up here. So when that thing faces you again, oh yeah, I know how to deal with this, man. I'm going to blow right through you. So
yeah, yeah,
a couple things before we finish up. Number one, if you're on a construction site, we want you to be safe. We want you to be able to get home, have dinner with your spouse, your husband, your wife, your kids, your pets, have some fun, watch some tube, get some REM sleep, and be able to go do it the following day. Number two, it's really hot out. Got to stay liquefied. Colby knows this as a Marine, man. But when you get dehydrated, man, you make mistakes. And it's just like on the athletic field. You get headaches, you don't make the pass, you miss the net. You drink yourself lots of water. Put some electrolytes in there too, especially during the summer. And
Hmm.
you'll perform better on the construction site. You'll have a better night at home. You'll have a better sleep, and you're going to have that much better of a day the following day. And but staying liquefied. I don't even care during the winter. You got to stay liquefied in whatever you do. Trust me, you'll feel better, and your body will appreciate it when it's getting its REM sleep at night. And last but not least, hit the like button so we can get this episode out with the YouTube algorithms and find out about Colby's story and all the cool stuff he's done with his CNC router, woodworking, etc. So, with that, any final thoughts, Colby, before we finish up?
Not much. Everybody just have a good day. You know,
Yeah.
take chances for sure.
Well, I'll look you up when I get down to Dallas, and I got some buds I could probably turn you on to. They're always looking for guys like you that are like diamonds in the rough that do really good work, and you
Yeah,
never know where
absolutely.
your next contract's going to come from. But I know a lot of people down there in Big D and that surrounding area, so uh,
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
I'll
thank you.
connect you. I'll connect you. We do a fixture issue too. I do an architectural building product, so I'll make sure that I send you those listing forms. They're free. It's complimentary. So, like I
Cool.
said,
Yeah,
being in the magazine, tough to get into, but when the reports are applicable, hey, fill out. Takes a couple minutes for you to give us your company info, and you never know because there's a lot of people looking at that stuff. So,
yeah,
uh,
that's cool.
what? So, listen, everybody, it's almost the end of the first month of Q3. You got one more week left in July, and then August is coming, and then before you know it, hey, school starts here in about a week. Buses are back on the road, and then you got the fall, and before you know it's going to be the holidays, and we're going to be ringing in 2026, 2026. It's an amazing time to be alive. Take it all in. There's so much going on in the world that you have no control over, but it sure is nice to watch. Like a big movie, man. Get your popcorn. Political, world stuff, just local stuff, business. I mean, it's amazing. And then you put some AI in there too, and it's just a crazy, crazy world, man. So.
Yeah,
Maybe never a dull day. I sit in bed at night. I'm busy. I grab my phone. I'm like, okay, well, oh, I missed that today. All right, well, that's cool. And but just keep your blinders on and moving forward, and with a positive mindset, man, we're all gonna make it through it. But it's gonna be an amazing time to be alive. That's all I got to say right now. So, with that, Colby, sign off from down in Texas.
yep, yep.
All right, I'm going to sign off from Lake Lanier, about 30 miles north of downtown Atlanta. Everybody have a great rest of your TGIF. Have an awesome weekend and get ready. And you know what to do on Monday morning. Get up early, make your bed, start your day on a positive action, and put your game face on. Dress for success. Make the most out of your day, and then go through your week and just plow through it. Remember, Monday's a wind-up day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, pedal to the metal. Friday, wind down, and then recoup for the weekend, and go do it again the following week, and keep repeating. So, Colby, look forward to meeting you. Appreciate you being on, and everybody out there, Commercial Construction Coffee Talk. We will see you next time. Colby, appreciate
Me,
the
great to
time.
meet you.
All
We'll
right, man.
see you.
Cheers. See ya.